Hello, welcome to our unboxing video for the Estarli e28.9 and e28.X. This is an e28.X, but ostensibly they are the same. As you can see, the bike comes to you just like this. It would be in a box, obviously, but if you pull it out of the box, this is what you'll find, and it is pretty much ready to ride. You just need to do a few small adjustments. First of all, let's kick off with the starter pack. I'll bring it over here and let's have a little look inside. So you get a bag of tools, spanners and Allen keys. So it's easy for you guys. I will lay these out in size order. Two spanners, numbers here, 18, 16, 15, 13. Two pedals, left and right. You'll see that denoted on the inside, where you can see, if you look very closely, an L, two L's here, and two R's here on this pedal. So I know that's right and that's left. Here is your e28.X and e28.9 charger. It's very important that you use only the charger that you are supplied with your bike. You'll also find your starter guide, which tells you the key steps in setting up the bike. It's got some information here that's worthwhile reading about how to bed in your brakes where you got a new bike, and there's some more maintenance and display and after ride information here, so keep that handy. And then lastly, this is your PDI sheet. So every bike here at Estarli is designed and fully assembled here at our Hertfordshire factory, and this tells you the checks that have been done. You can correlate the number here with your frame number on your bike, and it tells you that Simon has built your bike, and it also tells you that George has QC'd it. It gets 2 QCs before it leaves us and comes to you. Okay, we're going to start with the handlebars, and you'll need a 5mm Allen, which is the third biggest Allen key you've got in your set. As you can see here, all of our packaging is done as eco-friendly as possible, so we wrap these bikes up with paper rather than plastic, and you simply have to unravel to reveal your handlebars. So obviously this is not an ideal riding position just yet, but that's what we're going to rectify. So taking the 5mm Allen key, the third biggest one, this is what we're going to adjust in order to swing these handlebars round and get them straight. So if I use my foot here, I can bring them round. What I quite like to do is line up the bike from the front here and use my knees perhaps to just get that position where the bars are straight. You can also hop on, take your seated position, and just check that that feels about right, and that looks bang on in line. So at that point, we're going to come round to what I said, and we're going to adjust these two bolts here. Now you kind of do these in synchronization. You only need to tighten them to wrist strength, and we're going to start with the top one and just do a few twists, and we're going to move down to the bottom one. So nice and tight, but nothing too strenuous. Then you want to do the opposite to what you did at the start and come around the front and just make sure that if you put your knees together on the wheel, there's no play, there's no movement in that handlebar there. And bingo, those are lined up and ready to go. Okay, with the handlebars all set up, we're going to move on now to the pedals. Coming back to our tool area, we don't need that Allen key right now. We're going to take our two pedals, and you need the 15mm spanner. If you remember, the pedals are marked right and left, so I'm going to kick off with the right one, being as I'm on this side, and you want to attach the right one using clockwise rotation. And at the point at which you'll see just the pedal itself starts twisting, that's hand tight, and then we use the 15mm spanner, again clockwise, just to make sure that is nice and tight. So you're going to put some grunt into that and push it as tight as you can, and that is the right pedal all set. The only difference with the left is that we're playing opposites. So I'm going to twist it in an anti-clockwise direction. There we go. That's my cue now to continue tightening using the spanner. Again, continuing my anti-clockwise direction and just making sure that it's nice and firmly in place. Not over tightening, but tight enough. Right, I'm going to remove the wrap off the saddle, and I'm just going to spin the bike round to show you what to do with the battery. Your keys for the battery will be here, just fastened or attached roughly onto some of the brake cables. So you just need to unloosen that, and you've got your 2 keys. Our recommendation is keep one on your keyring or whatever you like, and keep a spare at home or whatever suits. So the Estarli e28.X and e28.9 have a battery built here into the down tube, but it's an accessible battery. Then using these keys, you'll see that if you insert and turn anti-clockwise, the battery sort of half pops out. Then you need to use your finger here, pressing at the top to press the catch to release the battery fully. And there it is. There is your lithium-ion battery. The charging point is here on the battery, and you can charge that away from the bike if you wish. But you'll see there's an access point on the other side of the frame, which I'll show you here. And you can also charge it on the bike, whatever's convenient for you. In terms of getting the battery back in, I'll just remove the keys to show you the best way. Always start at the base. So you slide it in, and that's nice and locked into place there. And then you just want to give it a push, and then you'll see it's in place when it's all flush and seamlessly in. That's when you know your battery is locked in and you're good to ride. From here, we're in a good position to go through the display, which is found on the left-hand side of the handlebar. You'll see at the base or the underside, there are 3 buttons. Here is your main button, if you will, and you've got a plus and a minus button. I'll talk you through what those do now. Press and hold the main button on the right-hand side for about 3-4 seconds to power it up. You'll see the Estarli logo come on, and then you're in. Using the plus button, you can see we toggle up and down through the power modes here. So just using the plus or minus. You can double tap the power button to turn on the lights. You see that's automatically turned on the front light here and the rear light that's neatly found down here on the mudguard. Now, if you've ordered the E28 without mudguards, at the rear here, instead of obviously the light being attached there, you'll have an independent brake light that'll be attached under the saddle, and that's wired separately, so you'll need to use replacement batteries for that. But in this setup here, the most common setup, you see you have rear lights and front lights connected to the display. If you press and hold the plus button, you'll see it jumps to power mode 5. People like to use that if they find themselves at the bottom of the hill and stuck in some traffic, etc. And I'm just going to step to the side a second, release the kickstand. If you press and hold the down arrow, you'll see it enters walk assist mode and it starts to go forward. It's not a big lurch, but just be wary of where you are when you press that button for the first time. To enter the settings menu, press and hold the plus and minus buttons simultaneously when you turn the bike on. Here you can flick through a few options, including changing from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. You can reset your trip. You can change the auto timer on how long it takes for the display to automatically turn on and off. Certain functions you'll find have been locked due to legal requirements and road regulations. Okay, that's everything for the display. At that point, we'll spin the bike back around because, you know, everyone's got a good side. You'll notice in the middle of the handlebars here, you've got the SP Connect. That can be used with whatever compatible device, such as a mobile phone you have. And accessories can be purchased through us or through SP Connect themselves. And you can find phone mounts and Garmin mounts, whatever suits you. Okay, now for some pre-ride checks and maintenance. Firstly, the tires. You want to add air to your tires between the pressure ranges as recommended on the inside of your tire here. So check what it says on the inside of the tire and hit those numbers. As for your pedals, just make sure that they are secure, they're free from play, and you'll see the reflectors on both sides are in place. You can just do a very simple visual and I guess fingerproof test on your spokes, just making sure that all your spokes are rigid and taut and there's nothing that's getting in their way. This is an e28.X, so it is belt driven. And with the belt, it's very, very low maintenance, but you want to just run your fingers across it and check that there's no signs of damage or breaking, there's no creaking in it, and it's nice and taut. If you have the e28.9, like with any other chain, you want to make sure that it is clean and it is well lubricated. Okay, hopping back onto the bike. You've already secured your handlebars in the right position and checked they're aligned. You obviously just want to check for any damage and make sure that there's no play in anything. Your grips, you just want to make sure that they are nice and tight and there's no slipping. This is an e28.X, so on the right hand side there's no gear shifter because the gears are automatic, but you have a bell. Your display, as we'll have seen already, is on the left. You can adjust the position of your brake levers and your display to one that suits you best, but the main thing is to just make sure that you're in a comfortable position and everything is tight and firmly in place. It's the third largest, the 5mm Allen key you'll need to adjust your seat post height. So you simply increase or decrease the height of your saddle as so. It's quite subjective, but you want to find a position that is a comfortable riding position for you, and that when you're seated, your legs are not fully extended if they're on the lowest point here. So just looking at my left leg there, I probably want to move this saddle up a little bit, but you don't want your legs to be fully extended and reaching. You want to be just comfortably in about that range there. It's also important to check your brakes. So taking the bike off its stand, the right hand side is the front brake, the left hand side is the rear brake. You just want to check that the brakes are engaging correctly at the same time as you push forward a bit on the bike. So as I push forward using the front brake, checking that engages correctly, and the same on the back brake, check that engages correctly. You can do that in both directions. Once again, rear brake, check that engages correctly, and the front. And you want to make sure that your brakes, when they're engaged, they're not going too close to the grip. So these are in a good position here. If they are too loose, you'd find that the lever would be going right up towards the grip, in which case you'd want to sort that out. But those brakes are engaging nicely. So there it is, our unboxing guide to the Estarli e28.9 and e28.X. These bikes are designed to be ridden on roads, trails and towpaths, and for you to explore your communities and enjoy your commutes with. As ever, if you have any more questions, the team at the factory here would be happy to help. So please get in touch or visit the tutorials page on the website.